On the last episode of Sailing Free Spirit, you saw us leave Plymouth twice, endure some rolling seas, arrive in Dartmouth to eat some pasta, anchor in Studland Bay, and plan our trip through the Solent. Join us in this episode as we start from the originally unplanned visit to Yarmouth on the Isle of Wight.
Well, we've made it into the Solent. We've just come into the entrance past the shambles. You can see behind me there's a tower, and over there I think hopefully you can see the Needles. The visibility has cleared up. And I'm concentrating hard on keeping this jib filled and on dead run as we're coming into the voyage. Everything went exactly to plan, so that's really good. I'm really happy to be here. It was a short journey today, but Marina will be nice in a shower. That's going to be good.
Bad visibility and mist earlier that morning had delayed our entry into the Solent, and so we decided to visit Yarmouth instead of going all the way to Gosport. Here, the harbour master met us at the entrance, and once ashore, it didn't take us too long to find the local fish and chip shop. It was situated in a beautiful, old-fashioned looking street, and so we settled ourselves in the church square to enjoy our meal before taking a short walk to enjoy some of the architecture and heritage buildings that made up this old town. We returned to the marina, where Moyana was now being dwarfed by a rather large-looking yacht, and I sent Richard to attend to the pressing matter of a week's worth of laundry.
Well, good morning. What day is it now, Nina?
I've got no idea.
No idea. We'll find out what day. It might be Friday. We're just about to leave Yarmouth. We had a fantastic night's sleep last night. I think I was in bed at 9:30. Nina's alarm went off at 6:30. She's been busy in the kitchen preparing our lunch for today. And the rest. And making breakfast. I've just done a few little bits of nothing, making the boat ready to get to sea. And we're about to head off into the Solent again. We're going to turn right, go through the Solent. Hopefully we'll get as far as Brighton. Hopefully. The wind is a lot lighter today, which would be nice. I'll say it's so early so that the tide will take us through the Solent. Not that we're overly nervous about the Solent, but anything that helps us get through I think is probably a good thing. So let's throw some ropes off and head out there. Very much.
So we're just in the Solent, which means lots more traffic than we've been used to. There's a precautionary area where they say that you must stay clear of any large vessels. You must be more than 1,000 metres away from their bow and at least 100 metres away from either side of them. So you have to cross behind them basically.
We haven't seen many big vessels.
No,
We've watched one come in, and he just shot past. I mean, those things are going fast.
In the centre of the channel there's Ride Middle. Okay, you want to keep that on your left. But if you stick to the port markers close to them, then you'll be fine.
So I'm on 105 now, and I can see just up ahead 2 lumps of land mass. Is that what I'm avoiding? Turns out those 2 lumps of land mass I was talking about was in fact big boats that were quite close because they've moved, and I'm assuming land doesn't move. So I'll just stick on my bearing of 105 from here. That's 105 after I've reached Prince Consort, so anybody who's local to the Solent area will know exactly where I am now. And that's going to get us to the other side of the Solent.
So we're here by Ride Middle, and I'm suggesting that we stay south of the channel until we're past Portsmouth, and then we cross at right angles to the main channel.
Okay.
So that then we carry on up the coast.
And what's my bearing once I've reached this next marker?
So 110.
I really enjoy sailing wing on wing. It's so peaceful. You can hardly feel the breath of wind. Yet we're still managing to clock along at 5.3 knots. Well, the Isle of Wight is now behind us, and so are hundreds, well, it might be an exaggeration, but certainly a lot of big, scary tankers. We've crossed the Nab Channel safely. There was a moment of concern that we were going to get run over by a great big tanker.
A massive tanker.
And look at the size of this. I mean, what even is in it? It's just, I'm guessing it's cargo. I've seen too many pictures of yachts with snapped booms and snapped masts, etc., because they're going too close to those things. That is on a serious leader. So destination Southampton. There we go. That's where he's going.
What about the one after that? And the one after that? And the one after that?
Some time ago, I was having a mooch around in the local chandlery, second-hand chandlery, and I came across this cruising chute. And I paid £35 for it, and I'm really glad I did. So in this light wind now, I mean, we've got 7 knots, and I'm still making 2.5 knots with wing on wing on wing. There's my mizzen, my main, and the cruising chute. I'm not entirely sure I've run it correctly. I did find some pulleys on my Anna that I did wonder what they were there for, blocks and things like that. So I've just used them. I could certainly do with trimming a lot better.
Here's your breakfast. Do you want me to help? Can you help and do that, or shall I?
That moment when a great big ferry sneaks up behind you and you weren't looking.
Oh, we've just had the sun out, but it means that we can really look at the beauty of the landscape. This is the first most stunning bit of coastline we've come to. I think the other days we've been further out at sea. Well, it's been a bit too rough to really sort of enjoy. So the water's aquamarine blue. It's very nice. So it's pretty good here. I like the south coast.
It really is some spectacular scenery as we come past Beachy Head.
We wouldn't be able to see this unless we were on a sailing boat. It's just amazing. I love the mixture between nature and man and woman.
And woman. Person kind.
That is why they're slowing down. Look at that. Amazing.
I'm glad they did slow down.
See, I wonder how much they pay for that ride. Probably like 40 quid.
Yeah, all that fuel they're using. How much fuel have we used today, my love?
Not a lot.
Not a lot. This is what every sailor wants. Sunshine, good, solid, comfortable wind, favourable tides. Cup of tea. Gin on the poop deck, darling. 17 miles outside of Brighton. Moyana's driving.
I haven't thought I was going to die today. That's good.
No, we had no scare. Well, apart from the big tankers coming out of Nab Point thingy.
Yeah,
Nab Strait.
I did actually.
Actually, in order to balance the boat, I'm back down to the full Genoa and Number 2 reef in the main. Boat is perfectly balanced and we're just going at 080. It's great stuff.
I wonder if we'll be able to get all the way to Rye. Depends on the winds.
Yeah, but if we've got favourable tide all that direction, if we get 10 hours of favourable, we kind of go all the way.
What, you want to do all of that?
If it's possible. I'd like to get to just below Ramsgate.
That'd be amazing. Yeah, that'd be an enormous
Should
trek.
we nip over to France for a night? Just for a night?
No, because we got
Oh, France is
quarantine.
closed. Oh, quarantine, yeah. Shame. Oh, we're just outside Brighton. I've had the second reef in the main sail just to kind of balance the boat a little bit. But the wind has dropped down somewhat now and we're only making 4 knots instead of the 5 we were. So I'm about to shake out this reef, get it down onto reef number 1 instead of reef number 2. That is done hopefully quite easily. This blue line is the outhaul for reef 2, yellow is the outhaul for reef number 1. Here's my halyard. So, the way I'm going to do this, hopefully, without changing anything else, because also helm is on. I'm just a bit of an experiment. So I'm going to release the halyard a little bit. I'm then going to make good the outhaul for number 1 reef. My crinkle is already on for number 1 reef, so that should be good. Let's just see what happens, because, yeah, making it up as I go along. So, releasing the halyard a little bit. Get that crinkle off there. That's good. And your riding turns. And your random bits of rope in the way. So, releasing the outhaul for number 2 reef. Cleating number 1 reef. Outhaul. Make good. What speed are we on now, Nina?
4.2.
4.2. Oh well. What were we on before?
4.
4.2 of a knot. It all counts.
The dropping winds and reducing light meant we were going to have a long, slow journey if we were going to continue any further east. And so we made our way into our planned destination. The visitors' pontoons here were easy to see as soon as we entered, and a lack of other boats meant we had a very easy docking experience. So we've arrived safely
In Brighton.
Yep, the sun is setting, the water's calm. We had a bit of a lucky find along the way.
Found a fender.
Yay!
Bit of man overboard practice there. I thought I'm having that.
Yeah, any freebie. So, but we are going to just confess it's not all romance in Brighton.
It's not.
It's not
Let's
all...
turn around. Look what we're docked up right next to.
Oh,
Generator running all night.
fantastic.
Fantastic.
Oh, can't have it all.
No. Next stop. Next stop is potentially Dungeness at anchor with no wind. So if we even get there. But until then, I'm going to put this fender to use on Moyana. That didn't look staged at all, did it? Wow. Lovely morning. Well, the sun is shining here in Dartmouth this morning. No, we're not in Dartmouth anymore, are we? Brighton. The sun is shining here in Brighton this morning. Oh, a little wobbly pontoon there. And, well, it's beautiful. Apart from the big machine we were parked next to all night, but thankfully they turned the generators off eventually. And then have a look at these over here to the side. These appear to be floating houses. You can rent them, charter them, I don't know. Do you rent or charter a floating house? It's a good question.
Just off for the morning shower. It's all part of the facilities, thankfully. And I'm just going to try and find some fuel. Want to get an extra canister because today we're going to do a lot of motoring. And I'm really rather hoping that I can find an extra fuel canister place, maybe 25 litres, fill it with diesel. Don't know where that is though yet. It's just beautiful. Now it's time to make this fluffy boy look a little cleaner. And the best part of all is I come back after a shower to a fancy full breakfast of fruit, porridge, a cup of tea and tomatoes. They're just there.
Yeah.
Yeah. After a quick blast around the town and Asda to get some food, a few fresh provisions, we found a fuel dock. The fuel dock opens at 8:30. We have to leave the mooring by 8, otherwise we can't get out over the sandbar. So no fuel for us today. I hope we don't need it too much. I'm feeling a little bit of wind, but occasionally my windometer, Windex it's called, drops down. It's at 7. Drops down as low as 2, which is no wind. So, well, we'll see how far we get. But we do need to get to Dungeness to anchor up today because there's nowhere between here and there to anchor. Okay, well, anchors away, or lines away, or whatever they say. So just ahead of us there, behind that flogging jib, is Dungeness Head.
Dungeness.
What? Dungeness, not Dungeness. But as you can see, we are on pretty much a dead run. That means the wind is directly behind us. So this is pointing where the wind's coming from, picture of the boat, wind right behind us. And as such, every now and then, the jib doesn't like that. So I'm going to go and put the pole on the jib and see if we can make it better. Okay, well that was a little harder than I wanted it to be, but as you can see now, that jib is staying nice and full. What very little wind there is coming from the south-east, which means Dungeness is a rubbish anchorage. So I'm going to check the fuel, and I'm trying to decide whether or not, and I should have lots of fuel by the way, whether or not we just continue to motor to Dover, 26 miles at a rough 5 knots is of course 5 hours, 6 hours more today. Or do we anchor here anyway? And I've kind of got this whole going on.
Looking in the distance, I mean, I have to say, as nuclear power stations go, this is a really lovely one, but it's not appealing, and there's certainly no one else here, which makes it feel an even more isolated, desolate place. So, not my favoured place.
So what to do?
What to do?
What to do? Just look at this sea. It's as flat as a pancake. Absolutely no wind. Well, the wind I can feel is the fact that we're doing 6 knots that way, and the wind I'm feeling apparently is 6 mile an hour that way. So when sailing's a bit rubbish really, when you're just motoring like this. Autopilot's on. He's doing a good job, just keeping us on track, but yeah, it's not as adventurous as I'd like it to be.
We are ploughing on to one of the busiest harbours in the UK. So I'm not best pleased about that actually, especially as it's getting to nightfall. Rich has just gone downstairs, he's having a sleep. But yeah, very much relying on him and his experience to get us through. This is definitely outside my comfort zone. I've been to Dover many times. Every time it's always been pretty horrible in some way or another. It's just very noisy, or night time or whatever. It's always been quite busy, and I've never sailed it, so very much outside my comfort zone.
What's the update on Dover, darling?
We're just about to get into Dover Harbour. We have to ring on channel 74, tell them that we're coming in, and to wait for further instructions, and then monitor channel 74, and to ring again at 200 metres from the harbour entrance. So it's very exciting, and I'm very pleased to say there's no other boats around at the moment.
There's a fishing thing there.
Yeah, and a line, fishing line.
And a line, actually, which I've just driven straight over. Dear fisherman, your line should sink. For goodness sake. What's this other one? There'll be another one over there somewhere. Right, so we're going to stay the night on the fuel dock.
We've got a lovely night ahead on the fuel dock in Dover Harbour, which is far better than a night at anchor at Dungeness. Port control, port control, port control. This is Yacht Moyana, Yacht Moyana, Yacht Moyana, over.
Yacht Moyana, control.
We're about 300 metres, I think, from the entrance, the southern entrance.
Yeah, that's the green light for you, ma'am, if you'd like to enter, and then call again as you approach the exit channel in the corner.
I've never seen Dover look this beautiful, I have to say. If it wasn't light, this wouldn't be exactly relaxing, would it?
No, not at all.
Moyana, so you're clear to enter the Wick channel, call the marina on channel 80.
Okay, thank you for that. Over. Dover Marina, Dover Marina, Dover Marina. This is Yacht Moyana, Yacht Moyana, Yacht Moyana, over.
Moyana Marina. Hello there, good evening.
Oh, nice to hear your voice. How are you?
Lovely. Can you berth on Bravo pontoon in the tidal for me? Would you prefer a port side or starboard side mooring?
Port side, please.
If you berth, then I'll give you a call on the mobile. So Bravo pontoon, berth number 68, please. Bravo pontoon 68.
Okay. Is that the fuel pontoon like we talked about? Over.
Negative. Bravo pontoon in the tidal harbour, berth number 68. Then I'll call you on the mobile.
Okay, thanks. Over.
I like a bit of port side too.
And so, once again, we reach our destination with a setting sun. We'd sailed and motored for many hours again today, and were glad not to have to spend a night on the fuel pontoon, as we'd initially arranged with the marina. Good morning.
Good morning. As the sign says.
Welcome to Dover.
Yeah, what have we been doing today then, hun?
Well, we've slept, of course, which is great, and we woke up and just did a bit of domestic, so a bit of cleaning, a bit of fixing, a bit of breaking again, a bit of cooking, so and now we're sort of ready to do something.
Yeah, it's, I think it's about 11 o'clock. We're waiting for a 3 o'clock favourable tide, which will take us to Ramsgate, and then the day after that is...
the Thames.
Yeah, Nina's a little bit, well, so am I actually. We're a little bit nervous about doing the Thames. We've looked at the charts and what have you, and the passage plans. Hopefully we won't need one of these things. What is it, Nina?
It's a life raft for cruise ships, so it's the sort of thing I think probably about 50 people would get in and shoot off the edge of the boat.
It's crazy when the life raft is bigger than the yacht that you're sailing in.
Later on that afternoon, we finally alleviated my fears of running out of fuel, and once the tanks were full of fuel and water, we were instructed to wait for clearance to leave the port. There was a lot of pilot and military boat activity going on, and we weren't told why we had to wait. We were just told to do so, for about an hour. Finally, though, we were given our liberty.
Busy port. Having to wait to leave the port. So, please can I leave, sir? Not yet, sir. Thank you, sir. May I leave, sir? Not yet, sir. Thank you, sir. May I leave, sir? Off you go, sir. Thank you, sir.
We really hope you've enjoyed joining us for this second episode of our trip around the UK. Please hit the subscribe button and the bell to keep in touch. And if you're feeling adventurous, why not join us as a £1 tourist on Patreon? Thank you, and see you next time on Sailing Free Spirit.